Top 5 Facebook marketing mistakes you need to avoid. Facebook is a social media platform with over 2 billion users. This makes it a humongous opportunity that marketers simply can't avoid to miss. But while it's important to make sure you are marketing your business on Facebook, what's more important is to ensure that you're going about doing so in the right way. There are far too many people who invest time, energy, and money into marketing on Facebook, only to not see the returns they expect because they went about their marketing in the wrong way. Very often, it's the same mistakes you see time and time again. In this presentation, we'll look at 5 of the most common to help you avoid making them. Boring posts. What a lot of businesses and creators seem to forget is that their posts need to be interesting. Otherwise, what motivation will their followers have to remain followers and to read new posts as they come up? This is why it's so important to share interesting site posts, videos, or at least insights into your personal routine. Inconsistency. Another of the most important things to ensure with your brand is that your posts are consistent. That means you should be posting to social media on a regular basis, whether that's daily or every other day. Don't just leave your account to turn into a ghost town. Not responding. Social media is not a one-way system. This is a tool for communication, first and foremost, meaning that you should respond to questions, comments, and messages. This builds trust, and it also raises engagement and interest. Not using a professional design. If you created your logo yourself and your cover image, and you're hoping to get people to sign up to your account in droves, then you're unfortunately wasting a lot of time and effort. People will sign up to brands only if they look professional, trustworthy, and informative. To stand a chance, you need to be genuinely competitive with the biggest brands in your industry. No synergy. Social media works best when you combine it with other forms of social media. For the best chance of creating a successful Facebook page, you also need to invest time and effort into Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. This way, you can create a brand that is consistent and that is present all around the web. Top 5 advantages to marketing through social media. Social media at this point is simply a fact of life. There is no getting away from the huge amount of influence that social media has on our daily lives, or the way it has changed the very nature of our relationships. And with that, of course, comes interest from marketers. But it's not just the size and prominence of social media that makes it so appealing to this end. In this presentation, we'll uncover the true appeal of Facebook marketing for businesses, entrepreneurs, and more. Size. With over 2 billion monthly users, Facebook accounts for over 30% of the population of Earth. That's a massive statistic, and it shows why you absolutely cannot afford to ignore the role of social media in your marketing. Instagram and Twitter are behind, but not by a massive amount. Communication. One of the most important facts to remember about social media is that it is first and foremost a tool for communication. That is to say that, unlike other forms of marketing, this is a method that allows the recipient to talk back. That is transformative because it means you can get feedback about which aspects of your marketing are working, and it means you can survey your audience and more. Networks. Another huge advantage of a platform like Facebook is that it gives you access to real-world social networks. That is to say that the relationships on this platform reflect real-world relationships and friendships. So when someone shares something with their network, they're sharing it with people who are likely to be local, to have similar interests, and to take their referral seriously. This also gives the content you share huge viral potential. Targeting. Social media platforms are perfect for businesses because they provide the opportunity for marketing and reaching a massive audience, but also targeting and reaching a specific audience. It is better to reach 100 people who are likely to be interested in what you're selling than it is to reach 1,000 people who have no interest. Statistics. Using social media marketing gives you access to detailed statistics and analytics that can help you to better understand how your marketing is performing, what you need to change, and how to impact your audience even more. When you combine all these factors, you have a form of marketing that is potentially leaps and bounds above others. So get involved. Tips to creating headlines that will click with your audience. Social media and content marketing are a match made in heaven. Adding content to your site gives your site value. It gives people a reason to visit and to keep coming back, and it lets people know that you know your stuff. This is how a one-time visitor becomes a full-time subscriber and fan. But while content can do a lot of good, it's only effective if it is found. And this is why posting your new articles and blog posts to social media is a great way to generate interest and drive visitors. This is only useful, however, if the people who see those posts actually click on them. In this presentation, we'll take a look at why that doesn't always happen, and at what you can do to ensure that it does next time. As you might have guessed, it all comes down to the title. The place you need to look to for inspiration is clickbait. Clickbait is a term used to describe a certain type of article that has been designed specifically to try and attract as many clicks as possible. Unfortunately, the term tends to be somewhat derogatory, and the reason for this is that in most cases these articles don't deliver on their promise. They promise the world and purposefully sound highly inviting. But then when the user clicks on them, they tend to be disappointed with the results. What we need to learn as creators is how to use the same practices as clickbait to get attention, while still not misleading our visitors. So what do clickbait titles do to get people to click? Often, the number one strategy is to use a sense of suspense, mystery, and excitement. So these titles will very often, in some way, tempt the visitor to click. They might do this by leaving out a key detail, or by alluding to something exciting within. Examples include, Top 10 Ways to Lose Weight. Number 4 is life-changing. A woman walks onto a train. What happens next will blow your mind. The best of these, though, will gain an emotional reaction by suggesting that there is some hidden secret or life-changing fact inside. The former example does this to an extent, as does the classic, lose weight with this one easy trick. The problem is that these articles rarely have any useful tip or trick to share. And that's where we're going to be different. Instead of promising something vague, do your research and find something genuinely useful, interesting, and specific that you can share. And then use that in order to promote your articles. Use the precise name or a stat or anything else that makes people eager to click. But make it based on actual research. Quickest ways to piggyback off of Instagram influencers. In this presentation, we're going to be looking at one of the most powerful strategies that any business or brand can use to promote itself, leveraging the power of influencers. An influencer is someone who has already amassed a large number of followers and trust on social media. They might regularly post to YouTube, Instagram, or somewhere else, and either way, they will now control the hearts and minds of thousands or even millions of followers. The good news is that these people are individuals, and many are just hobbyists. That means that they will often be excited at the prospect of working with a big brand. That's you. And especially if there is financial incentive involved. This is a win-win situation then. So how do you go about getting the most from the method? Choose wisely. The first tip is to ensure that you choose your influencers wisely. Don't necessarily go for the biggest person in the niche first, as they will get hundreds of offers a month, and you may not be able to compete. Instead, choose an influencer who is currently on the way up. They'll enjoy the boost they get from you, and you'll get to grow with them. Send review products. One of the quickest, easiest, and cheapest ways to get promotion from an influencer is to send them a product to review on their channel. Just send them your product early to give them the exclusive, or to make it an exciting prospect, and often you'll get free coverage. Of course, this doesn't guarantee a positive review, though, so make sure the product is good, the approach is right, and the influencer is fair. Pay for a shout-out. Paying for a shout-out of some form is a very quick and easy way to get access to a large audience. This can be as simple as sponsoring a video and getting a short message at the start. Message them. Easier still, just message the creator and see if they respond. Team up for an ad. A little more involved, but still highly effective, is to team up for an ad. This means you're going to pay to have an ad created and/or put in the time and effort to create one yourself. However, you're going to star the creator, which will give them a massive boost and give your video a massive boost. Personal branding in the modern day of social media. Personal branding is an immensely fascinating concept when it comes to marketing, and one that will be naturally interesting to many people. Essentially, personally branding means taking your name and your image and turning that into your brand. This is a way for people to potentially achieve a minor form of celebrity online, hence the mass appeal, while also presenting an opportunity for businesses to reach a much larger audience in a far more personal and impactful way. In this presentation, we're going to look at what personal branding is, why it's exciting, and how you can make the most of it. Personal brands explained. The best way to explain a personal brand is to suggest a few examples you can learn from. Take Tim Ferriss, for instance. Tim Ferriss is a prominent creator, an author, a podcaster, and someone who has a massive online following. Part of Tim's success comes down to his branding. Notice how you know his name rather than a company. The same goes for someone like Tony Robbins, or perhaps Pat Flynn. These are people whose names come first. Elliot Hulse or the Hodge twins are similar examples, as are many more YouTube personalities. If you choose to create a personal brand, then the name of your social media account is your name. The things you post are clips from your life, and the business name takes a back seat. Why it works. There are many reasons that personal branding works well, and particularly when combined with social media. For starters, a personal brand makes your website and business feel much more personal, and it makes people feel as though they know you and can relate to you. That means they'll feel as though they can trust you, and in turn, that means they'll be willing to buy from you. Another reason it works is because people love living vicariously. People love getting an insight into the lives of others, and this way, your social media will become much more interesting and addictive to follow. Finally, though, using yourself as your brand allows you to sell the value proposition. A value proposition drives most successful products. This is the promise for what your product can do for people. It is the lifestyle you're promoting and the emotional hook. By having a personal social media account, you can show yourself living the lifestyle you're selling. And when you do that, people will be inspired to buy your product.